Hello, how you doing? Hidden? Oh, it's not Hidden Manor. I'm the Hidden Manor. You're the Veiled Mama. So, hi. This is just a test run video, basically, that I'm making to see how it all comes across and get some feedback from you. So I'm grateful for that. Just lower this down. So this is my channel. It's called The Hidden Manor. It deals with nursery rhymes and fairy tales and folklore regarding lost Israel. So these are some papers that I wrote some years ago. Um, Jack and the Beanstalk, Snow White, and Jack and Jill, Humpty Dumpty, and I made these videos over 14 years ago. They're not the best quality, but I, you know, I say but, I'm going to remake some of them. And so we're going to deal with that and the cosmological aspect, how that relates to the nursery rhymes as well. I came across stories of lost Israel in this book here, in folklore by the Reverend James B. Haggart. It was a book that William Walker, a friend of mine, LDS author, suggested, and also I got the title of my excuse me, my channel from William Walker's book, which is The Hidden Manor, which is a reference to the scriptures. That was the second book that William published. It talks about the Twin Towers. It talks about the beast, the final end beast, and so forth. It talks about Roman history and in relation to the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. William's first book was called In the Isles of the Sea, and it deals with the American and British connection and the gathering of Israel as the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh and how that relates to the restored gospel, and has a broader expanse as well on that. So we're going to look and talk about those things. William produced a third book, which was called The Islands, excuse me, bending down, The Islands of Destiny. You see it's a green coloured cover book. It deals with the Irish connection with Jeremiah, the tender twigs, I should say, of the princes of Zedekiah's daughter at the time of Lehi leaving Jerusalem. And Jeremiah left with the tender twigs, came to Ireland, and there, and with the prince as well, the young prince Mulek. So we're going to look at that. Then William also his book deals with the birth, death and resurrection of the Saviour. These are only booklets. These are like 130, 150, 300, 200, 300 page books. Deals with the the birth, the crucifixion and the resurrection in Jewish tradition, calendars and so forth. So we're going to incorporate that, and his final book was called Genesis, the Morning Breaks, which deals with the creation. Again, cosmological aspect comes into that as well. The William produced for the American audience the book called Hidden Manor with a new title, Unlocking the Pathmos Code. So we're going to look at that. As regards to the Islands of Destiny, we have Phyllis Carroll Olive's books, and we're going to look at her book in particular, this book is called Lost Sheep, The Lost Sheep of Ancient America. Talks about Mulek in there in particular, and we've got Vanished Races of the Book of Mormon. We've got The Lost Lands of the Book of Mormon, and the final book. It's not her final book, I don't think. I think she's maybe done a couple more. These are reprints, I think, of older versions that she published. So this book is called The Prophesied Coming of Jesus Christ, so the second coming. So we're going to look at that in relation, and also we're going to look at, obviously we can't miss out, Anthony Larson and his Ancient Skies and the Restored Gospel, and look at his books, his videos, and talk about that. This one is called The Moon Shall Turn to Blood. It's a trilogy prophecy books. The Earth Shall Reel To and Fro, and There Shall Be a New Heaven and a New Earth. And this book here is called the plainest book, Revelation, by Anthony Larson, and of course he deals again with the cosmological aspect of the gospel, which is the gospel that is the temporal gospel in Doctrine and Covenants 29 verses I think 30 to 35 talks about the first shall be last and the last shall be first, and that all things are spiritual unto the Lord. And so the gospel has two faces to the coin. We have the spiritual aspect and we have the temporal aspect, being in this regard, in all things it incorporates the whole of life. So we're going to look at the cosmological aspect, which Joseph Smith taught. And all the ancient prophets. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at also the cosmology, Doctrine and Covenants, the electric universe. So these are new theories that have come out, but they do coincide with the restored gospel and the teachings of the prophets. We're going to look at the Thunderbolt Project. So these two books came out by David Talbot and War Thornhill, and so these aren't church members. These are people that the light of Christ is spread out into the world, and so forth. Now all three, War Thornhill, David Talbot, and Anthony Larson, as many others, were all inspired by this guy, Emanuel Velikovsky, who is a fantastic guy, one of my heroes. All these people are heroes of mine. I love them. All have been persecuted by the establishment, by churches, by organizations, and ridiculed. Manuel Velikovsky, not being a nobody as such, he was a credentialed academic in psychology. He was a psychoanalyst, but he wrote this book in the late 40s, early 50s, called Worlds in Collision, where it talks about catastrophism, if I can pronounce that properly, catastrophism. So we're going to talk about that. And then his recently published book is called In the Beginning, which his family published just a few years ago, which deals with, this was going to be one book together. He talks about Saturn, talks about Venus, and talks about Mars. So, which is my diagram that I produced and had made. I have one over the other side where you can see I need to get my hand right. Oh, there it is. So I'm just working this out. I keep looking up into the corner there because I'm looking at me, and I'm looking up because my TV screen's up. So, my monitor screen, I should say. Well, it's my TV screen. So anyway, so we're going to do that. We're going to look at all that and how that relates. So, now, I don't want to leave out Michael Rush's books either. And we have his first book, A Remnant Shall Return. Fantastic. And then I think he produced Revelation. I'm sure that's the right order. Revelation, John the Divine, and then Daniel 11, and then Delight in Plainness. So we're going to look at Michael Rush's books as well, in connection with these other guys. Now, all these authors, except Immanuel Velikovsky, are lay people. I think that these books aren't. They have no. Which, if Michael Rush ever listens to this one, I would say footnote your book, please, because there is so much that needs cross-referencing. I'd love it if there was a I don't know if there's a. Did I check for a bibliography? Oh no, I think there's a few. I mean, I think he references through, but I don't think there's bibliographies. But an index would be absolutely fantastic as well. So maybe that's something that could be added at a later date. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at these subjects. So we're going to, let me just bring it up. We're going to look at the polar configuration in regard to Saturn, Venus and Mars. This is obviously a map of the USA. I had this diagram made for me by Ryan Dagner of the Cutting Edge Science. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at my let me just get back. Oh, let's get rid of that. And so we're going to look at a drawing that I sketched. I say drawing, sketch of the polar configuration, which came about, which I developed into this diagram, adding these elements. So I'm going to talk and explain these things from my perspective. The Gospel of Jesus Christ is about. Someone once said to me, "It's not all about you. It's not all about you." Well, it is all about us as individuals, our relationship, our personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And yeah, so this is me working out my own salvation and building my relationship and how these things came about in my life. So and how they relate. So I'm going to go into that into a little bit of detail in a video that I'll make. So that will be another one. I can move myself about that I've discovered. So there I go, and then just put that down and put that down and put that down to go back. So just bring up some others. So we're going to look at the polar configuration. We're going to look at, this is Saturn, the Rome temple. We're going to look at that imagery. I'm going to talk about William Walker and Jeffrey R. Holland's aspect of it, coming to the London temple. Because all things, there are no coincidences in things, all things are connected. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look, again, this is the polar configuration. So with the Thunderbolt project, we're going to look at the Marred Servant from Avram Gileadi's, the Isaiah Institute. So we're going to glean lots of different things. I didn't mean to bring that up. So we're going to glean lots of different things from different books. The Lord said in the scriptures to teach one another with by faith and study. So this is my personal study that I'm sharing with you. And if you glean something from it, then all well and good. This is what's going on for me in particular, and the Lord revealing whatever He's revealing to me personally. We're going to talk about the political kingdom of Jesus Christ and the Council of 50, and how all that comes into play. And yeah, so we got that. Like I said, the Mad Servant. We're going to talk about Jeremiah and Humpty Dumpty. So the nursery rhymes come into play. So that'll be interesting. Let's just get rid of that again. Keep clicking on the wrong thing. We're going to, here we go, the polar configuration. This is a drawing by a female artist called Pioneers of Cosmism. So we've got Joseph Smith, teachings of the Holy Prophets. We've got Anthony here, Larson's here. I forgot these guys. This is David Talbot from the Thunderbolt Project, Walt Thornhill at the back. We've got Nicole Tesla. I can't remember these other modern guys. This is the Sapphire Project, I think. There's Monty or Scott from the Sapphire Project, the Electric Universe. We have some ancient Pythagoras and some other ancients. I will get the list from the artist. This diagram again, this is the Birkeland current, birth of planets. This is again the electrical aspect, plasma cosmology, as taught. I think one of these guys is anyway, I thought it was Einstein, but it's not. But anyway, so there we go. We had some female lady scholars also, which I will all list and explain to you at some stage. And then, so we're going to deal also with the Ottoman Empire and the Antichrist and so forth, and how that comes into play with it. We're going to look at King Charles. We're going to look at lots of different things. Well, basically, we're going to have a discussion. So, we're going to also talk about one of the other things I was going to do was hopefully have some guests or some discussions with some people I want to talk to. Electric Universe Eyes. There's Mark Pinnell of the Facebook group Cutting Edge Science and the Restored Gospel, the Ancient Skies and the Restored Gospel. So we've got that. I'd like to talk to Lara Larson, who was Anthony's wife, and if she would be up to talking, and of course yourself, the Veiled Mama. So might be good just to have a few videos that we could do in that regard. Anyway, that all said and done, this is the end of this video. I'm going to post it to you privately, and if you think it's any good, I can post it. So yeah, so there we go. So take care and ciao.